Welcome back to Talkin Shop with ShopSabre. In this podcast, we like to tackle the CNC industry specifically and really talk a little bit about business in general. Hopefully you'll find some entertainment throughout it and hopefully some education. But the next episode starts right now. Welcome back to Talking Shop with ShopSabre. I am your host, Brandon Bombardo. I am here with Nick Peters.
What's going on, Brandon?
Not much, man. We got a lot of extra room in this room today.
We do.
No extra guests.
It's nice and cool.
We got a camera on us again.
Connor's not here blowing hot air all over the place.
Hopefully it's the camera's working here. Hi, camera.
Like the red light's on, so it should be good.
Hey, red light's on.
The red light's on the recorder
Yeah,
here,
I
so
hit
we're
the button over
recording,
here.
so we're good.
We're like 2 for 2 so far.
Wow.
But as everybody knows, each week we try to talk about the CNC industry, business in general, just kind of keep you entertained, keep yourselves entertained a little bit. And like I said, jump through a bunch of different topics. And hopefully by the end of this thing, you're ready to tune in and listen to us again next week. So we're going to jump in. We have, obviously our normal segment. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the current events. There's lots of those this week. And then we're going to jump into some customer questions and comments that we have seen this week. And then we have a question for you, the audience, followed up by our topic of the week, which is going to be talking a little bit about, what I call the burnt toast theory.
Burnt toast is so good.
Yeah, it's the burnt toast theory. I actually read this, and to be honest, I loved it, so I took it. And then we're going to jump into the internet is broken, which it's destroyed right now. And then we'll get into motivational quote of the week before we give you our final thoughts. So should we jump right into it, Nick?
Let's go.
Current events, man. What a week. What a week.
It's been something, huh?
It's been something, man. We got the TC open house coming. I'm pretty pumped about that.
It's going to be awesome. A lot of people expressing interest in coming
Yeah.
to see us. I can't wait.
TC series, which is tube cutter for anybody that doesn't know what TC means. But yeah, we got the tube cutter. We're having a launch party, if you will. It's not this Friday, but the following Friday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central Time here in Lakeville, Minnesota. It is an RSVP event, so please make sure you RSVP. You can just send your RSVP to sales@shopsabre.com, and we'll get you on the list. And then if you buy a tube cutter that day, you get reimbursed for travel expenses up to $1,500.
Hell of a deal.
Pretty awesome. Basically, I pay you to come check out our machine and buy it.
Genius.
Pretty awesome, right?
I mean, it's a no-brainer, right?
You know what my favorite part about the whole thing is? Barbecue.
I was going to say lunch.
Barbecue, yeah. We're having the world famous barbecue from Belinda Peters.
I was waiting for something else to be. I was wondering where you were going to go with that.
I was trying to come up with a name fast, but Belinda's the only one I got for you.
That works.
Yeah, no, Nick's making his barbecue pulled pork. Is that right?
Yeah.
Pretty pumped about that.
It's going to be good.
Yeah, and then we're gonna have the TC series here on display, so we're pretty excited about that. We're gonna do some live cutting, some demonstration of the ProNest. Nope, I lied to you. Rotary tube, Hypertherm Rotary Tube Pro software. I believe Hypertherm's sending a rep to come check out the tube cutter, but also give some insight into the rotary tube software. And then, of course, Ben, our guru, let's call him, right?
And as cool as the machine that Tay and his guys came up with in their promo video,
dude,
this one's going to be way cooler. But that video was one of the
video
best
is pretty
things I've
awesome.
ever seen.
I'm pretty excited to have Tay here.
Yeah.
So Tay Whiteside is going to be here for that as well. And then we're actually going to shoot a podcast episode that day. So he'll be one of our guests coming up in the next few weeks here. So we're pretty excited about that.
Tuesday podcast on a Friday?
Yeah.
Are we doing 2 that week or just one?
I think we're going to probably do 2 that week.
Sweet.
It'll be Lift Art Studios. Tay. We're pretty pumped. He's never been to our facility, so he's pretty excied to come check it out.
We should have did this in the winter so everybody can come and experience the Minnesota winter. That would have been
fun. I
don't
think people would have shown up.
For $1,500 to buy a machine, I would have.
Yeah, you might have, but I think people would be like, you know what? I'm not going to go freeze.
Oh, we could just tell them it's going to be just like last winter and it's going to be 70 degrees and they wouldn't know any better.
That's true. No, it's I'm pretty excited though. Like I said, TC series open house. And then it finally is going to stop raining, it looks like. We got 5 days of solid
At least. It sounds
sunshine.
like at least next Monday before we even
I'm pumped about that.
Going to get to go racing this weekend?
I'm going to go racing this weekend, yes.
Good.
Pretty excited about
Saturday
that.
and Sunday? And Friday?
No, I'm just going to go Saturday. I'm doing some stuff Friday night with my kids. Pretty excited about that too, taking them mini golfing.
Nice.
So
Where are you going?
We're going up to Brainerd.
Sick.
Yeah.
Pirates Cove?
Yeah. Taking up to
Nice.
Pirates Cove. We're going to go mini golf, and they don't know. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Well, hopefully they don't listen to this
They
podcast.
don't listen to this thing.
Okay,
Are you
that's
kidding
good.
me? I can't get them to listen to me ever. They don't listen to me at all. They're not going to involuntarily
Wouldn't that
listen
be
to
funny,
this.
though, if you get home from work tomorrow night and they're like, I can't wait to go mini golfing on Friday? You'd be
Yeah.
like,
What?
The hell?
Where did you listen to that? I'd be like, you were hearing stuff.
That's funny.
But yeah, so we're going to Pirates Cove. Then we're taking them up to the zoo. So
Sweet.
pretty excited for that. They're going to go check out the zoo on Saturday morning, and then we'll go racing. So yeah, excited about the weekend that we got ahead of us. And
It'll be fun. It's going to be nice to actually have time to be outside.
yeah, I'm pretty pumped. Maybe my yard might finally dry out. Might be able to mow the whole thing.
I mowed it. I mowed mine last, I don't know, before it got up to like 140 degrees here. Because I knew I wasn't going to want to do it. And then I did half of it one night and then half the next night.
140. It was
And I
hot.
like, it's going to be hot.
It was hot.
So like we either have rain or it's a sauna and you don't want to go outside either way.
Correct. It was not.
like,
It was not enjoyable last Saturday.
I'm just not built for the heat. Like
Can't tell. You got the biggest beard ever, so that probably doesn't help you. Why don't you shave it? Shave your beard off. You'll be cooler.
you seen me without a beard before?
I did.
That's terrible. Not a good. Oh wait, you did actually.
I did. You lost a bet.
Stupid fantasy football.
Fantasy football, remember? It was a good time. No, yeah. So that was what I got on the news. What do you got in the news?
Not much else besides the nice weather.
Nice weather. I mean, we can just talk about one thing in the news. I mean, assassination attempt. That's
Yeah, I mean that's
pretty nuts.
crazy, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care where you stand on the political
No.
thing. I don't even want to get into it. I want to hear your comments about it. I don't care which side you're on,
Right.
but that's not good for the world. I'll put it that way. Like I think that's just a bad thing for the political system in general, and we all just need to find a way to
Just to like
unite.
have it seem like that's the position we're at right now. Or
Correct.
That's the point. Like that's
Yeah.
the point of the world right now. Like
Yeah, it's scary.
we haven't seen that forever.
Yeah, it's sad. It's kind of a sad, scary
horrible.
thing, to have to deal with that. But yeah, hopefully we can find a way to unite, bring everybody back together, and start fighting for a common cause here. And
For sure.
like I said, it's just yeah. I mean, obviously it's current events, so if we don't call it out, we wouldn't really be doing current events. So
It was kind of like on the tip of my tongue, but I'm like,
Yeah, I
it's
trust
like,
me.
It's like it's one of those things.
I don't
where
want to
you're just
start
like-
the battle. I
Right.
don't want somebody to start the comment. Somebody's gonna be in the comment section trying to stir the pot, and I'm not willing to do it. We're just gonna delete those
even though
comments.
like nobody
Yeah.
said anything besides like what
Yeah.
happened, it's
Yeah.
just like no matter what you say, it's just somehow turns into
It always turns
the
into
internet
something.
being broken.
The internet being that's exactly it. The internet being broken, which I'm excited for. The internet's broken today because it has to do with your page, your weather
Oh,
page,
God,
and I
here we
can't
go
wait.
again.
I'm so excited about this one.
Man,
But yeah, no, that's all I had on that. I don't really want to jump into a whole lot more about that topic, but
Right.
like I said, my current event that I'm excited about is the TC Series Open House. So if you haven't heard about it, be sure to reach out to us. If you want to get on the list, like I said, sales at ShopSabre. We'd love to have you come visit us. If you're thinking about going to it and you're like, you know what, I think make sure you get on the RSVP list.
yep. And all the information is on our Facebook social pages.
Yep.
It's everywhere. So if you have any
It's everywhere.
questions or what you need, things, what's
Yeah.
going on with times, whatever, it's all there for you. And let
sure.
us know you're coming, and we can't wait to see you.
Love it. Yeah, I can't wait. So let's flip the script right now. Customer questions and comments. All right, my questions for you today, or your questions for me, excuse me. Your questions for me and comments for me today is there a way to rerun a program over and over again if you're running the same thing? That was a question that we received regarding our controller and our machines. And I can understand that thought because sometimes you run the same program, you're running a bunch of parts, right? And you just need to keep rerunning it, and you just want to know what's the fastest way to start that over, right?
Yep.
So the answer is quite easy. The answer is yes. You can absolutely do that. And it's just you hit the tab button on your keyboard and then enter. And the reason you use tab pulls up the history of programs you ran, and then enter would be the last program. So if you don't need to run the very last one, you need to cycle back to one. You can do tab, then move down to the file that you need, and then enter. So
Doesn't get much easier than that.
tab enter is pretty easy. So yeah, you can keep running programs, keep loading the machine, just turn that thing into really a full production cycle. And the reason we do it that way rather than just an auto is safety.
Right.
I don't want somebody to be up there unloading something and a machine to take off after them. So it's tab enter. You got a two form command, so that way you have to mean to do what you're about to do
Right.
versus accidentally hitting a button. So hopefully that answers that for you. Second question that we had was, do I set the tool height for each of my multi-drills? Multi-drills for everybody is a drill head, right? For drill heads, boring heads, whatever you want to refer to them as. And somebody's setting it up, just wondering, do they have to set their tool height for each individual drill? And the answer is no. you simply set your W axis 0, which W axis is the drill head, and then the drill tools will all end up being the same height. So that's one thing about drill heads, is that the tooling is universal. It's all one height. There's not varying heights there. There's the one thing you'll notice on a drill head actually is a lot of times people don't realize it, but there's black and orange drill bits. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but
I have, yeah.
Okay. So the reason for that is because it indicates left hand or right hand rotation.
I did learn that this week.
Did you?
Yeah.
So every other bit rotates the opposite direction. And so that is why when you buy these bits, there's specific ones for left and right hand, and then they're all built the same size. So
it did kind of leave me a little bit confused when I saw that answer. Why do you need them going the opposite way? Aren't you drilling the same direction?
Yeah,
when you're
but
going?
it's to reduce the way it's going to pick. Otherwise you effectively pick up the sheet.
But isn't it drilling? It's not drilling one hole at a time?
It can be.
But sometimes it's not.
Sometimes not. Sometimes do a 5.
Fair. That makes sense. Okay.
Like, because the drill head has 9 tools.
Yep.
And so you can do 9 at a time if you want
so
to.
you can just go back and forth.
Yeah, so like specifically for like closets, you'd run down that closet string and boom, drill them all. Just start drilling rapidly. But sometimes, like what I have a few customers of mine that actually utilize them as like a secondary tool changer. So instead of running 9 holes, they're only drilling 1 hole at a time.
Yep.
But each bit is a different size. So it calls out quarter inch, whatever, just throwing out numbers right now,
Yep.
5 millimeter, 8 millimeter, whatever you want to refer to them as. And then they'll end up drilling the holes that way. So that way you can cycle through them whichever you want. But again, they have to be the same height.
Makes perfect
So
sense.
that's the biggest thing about that, to make sure that's accurate. And then, you set your Z off of drill bank position 1, and then it sets them for all.
Perfect.
So
Learn something new every day.
learn something new every day. And then the last one. Once again, I'm blown away by ShopSabre support. You guys rock. I used to build and install automation lines for a major competing brand, and I want you guys and your management to know you guys have got it figured out. Quick response times for support, and the fact that you can ship a machine and the customer can set it up blows my mind. Thanks.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I wanted to share it because that's a comment, questions and comments, right? And that's a comment that I want people to see, because this is somebody who doesn't work for us. In fact, worked for a competitor, openly admits it there, worked for setting up and installing automation lines for a competitor of ours. Mm-hmm. And they're even willing to admit that what we're doing is not typical of the industry.
Yep.
We're able to, build a machine and send it fully assembled to the point where like our customers can install them. And we're really proud of that, because the average customer can be up and running in the same day they receive the machine, and many times only a few hours. But it says a lot about the attention to the detail that our guys in the back put into these machines. I mean, I'm not going to take credit for that. That's not me.
Right.
That's Chris. That's my brother. I mean, he really puts a lot of time and energy into that when they start developing products. Same with Ben. Ben and the guys out there, they all work really, really hard on getting things organized and figured out, so that way when you receive your new ShopSabre, you're not having to struggle trying to get it running.
For sure. And I think this is a good thing for a lot of people to hear that are either in the process of ordering or have already ordered and not received their machine. Because I get emails, not super often, but enough to remember it, that people are asking if they need to schedule one of our guys to come out and hook it up. They don't understand that it's as simple as getting it hooked to power, and it's basically ready to run your programs, right?
Right.
So it's like, obviously for people that are new to CNC, they have a million questions, a million worries and concerns about how it all's going to work, right? But so to know that it's going to show up at their shop and they can just hook it up and it's ready to go is obviously a good thing for them to hear.
And I think it's fair to assume that you would probably think about that when the industry typically requires that.
For sure.
Especially if you're a new buyer and you've talked to several people and they're talking about having to come out and set things up. Like, you just make that assumption that you're going to need somebody out there.
Well, I mean, how many things are there really that you buy, whether it's, something small or something as large as a CNC machine that just is ready to work right out of the box?
Right.
For lack of a better term. I mean, it's a lot of things don't work that way.
Well, and that's a good point, because I bought a toolbox for my race trailer. I had a little incident, okay?
No.
I took a corner, and the toolbox decided to do a backflip.
Oh, in your trailer?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was super awesome.
Haven't heard this story yet.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. So
That's great.
the toolbox, which, for the record, is ratchet strapped down.
You shouldn't drive your truck like a race car while you're hauling a
But
race car.
apparently, when you don't ratchet strap it, because I unratchet strapped it because I was using it.
Yeah.
And I forgot to put the ratchet strap back on.
Whoops.
And I took a corner. The toolbox decided to do a cool flip.
Did you hear it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hear it in the trailer. Like, you're driving and you just hear this noise. And, like, you don't know what the noise is, but you know it's not good.
Right.
So I pulled over. And I was like, yeah, this is bad. There's tools everywhere. So anyways, the story here that actually took place is that I had to go buy a new toolbox. The one I had got destroyed.
Yep.
And the toolbox didn't even come assembled.
So you had to sit there and like put all the drawers.
Yeah,
and
like,
then put
well,
it
it's not even that. Like the actual legs on it, because I bought one of those like rolling style ones.
Would you buy it at IKEA?
No, no. But they like you have to put the legs, the actual legs on them. They come in a box, like the Craftsman big box. Take the foam off, and you have to put the legs on it and the wheels on it. And it's not a lot of work. But I even thought to myself, I'm like, even something as simple as a toolbox, I had to put together.
Yep.
And like, speaking of IKEA, it is the beginning of school season, and my wife is a teacher, so we are frequent flyers there right now.
They have Legos there.
Do they?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they do. It's called grown-up Legos. Building a whole desk.
But like actual like real life adult kid Legos.
Oh, really?
Anyways, that's
cool.
Tangent, yeah.
Yeah, but my wife has now she's getting her classroom ready.
Yeah.
So we can't go to the classroom with the same stuff we had last year. Why would we do that?
Yeah, I mean, all new kids, they ain't gonna know.
Right, all new kids. Why would they know? No, we have to buy a whole new setup. And so she's been putting some stuff together for the last like 2 weeks, which props to my wife. She has assembled 98% of it by herself.
Well, you know what that's good for?
Why?
Keeping her off the lawnmower.
It's true. It's true. But she's using my power tools.
It wouldn't be a podcast without bringing up the lawnmower once at least.
It's true. So she's assembled this thing, but like, yeah, I mean, even the IKEA stuff, like we're putting all that stuff together. So as we go back to our statement, like even our machines, at least they come fully assembled. You don't got to put them together. They're not like an IKEA assembly system here.
You get all the legs, the gantry, the router, everything.
Could you imagine?
In pieces with a 75-page instruction book to
good
put
luck.
it all together. Yeah,
put together your industrial machine.
Hopefully
we wish you
it's
the
all
best.
straight when you're done.
Yeah.
Nope, we get it all done for you.
It's not straight? Oh, sorry, that's your problem. You didn't put it
You
together
shouldn't
straight.
have tightened all the screws. When you got to wait till the end to tighten them all up.
Speaking of waiting till the end,
God.
you got to make sure that you wait till the end. Because apparently, if you tighten them all up right away, you don't get the last bolt in that you needed.
Correct.
I learned that on the toolbox.
Okay.
Dang it. I had to take like half of it apart.
Oh.
And then the worst part is they don't tell you which side the handle goes on.
Well,
Well,
you just get to pick?
yeah. But they don't put a note that, hey, make sure when you pick the side you're going to put on, that it's also the same side as the turn wheels.
Oh, so you get all the way through it and you're like, oh, no, I got to
It's
put
all
on-
backwards.
Oh,
So I ended up having to switch and it doesn't seem that hard to take the handle off and switch it to the other side. But there's like 8 bolts you have to remove to get the handle off.
See, this is why the pay for assembly button when
Right.
you order online is
Absolutely.
perfect. Because it needs us to deal with it.
I'm like, I screwed up. But anyways, now my toolbox is in my race trailer. So
That's good.
go me. Let's see if I can send it flying
You
this
got
weekend.
Tools to fix your car once you break a brake
Well,
pedal
not
or
all of them. I
something.
haven't found all of my tools.
They're back on
I don't know where
Highway
they're
281
at.
on the way
No,
to Duluth.
they're not. They're not on the road, but they're definitely hiding in the trailer. I've been finding sockets. Like, oh, hey, there's a socket.
That's the worst.
Guess which one I'm missing?
The one you need.
The 10 millimeter.
What does that fix?
The 10 millimeter is like the most. So anybody who's a car guy or a mechanic understands the joke.
I am not.
The 10 millimeter is the one that goes missing every single time. It's like the number one tool that just vanishes. It's like a joke that everybody understands that works and stuff.
I thought maybe it was the one that was used for like everything.
And it is. Like it's a pretty standardized one. But it's literally the one I can't find.
That's funny.
My toolbox, and it's the 10 millimeter I cannot find. I'm so mad about it.
Well, good thing you can swing to the store and buy a new one.
Yeah, well, like it doesn't matter. The 10 millimeter just always goes missing.
That's fair.
You could buy one at the store, put it in the bag, get home, and it's not in the bag.
Still not there. Just
Just
disappears.
disappears. But yeah, so now it's my turn to ask a question for the audience. This week's audience question: if you could choose to go forward in time to one moment or go back in time to revisit one moment, which would you choose and why? If you could choose one moment in time to go back to and revisit or go forward to, what would it be and why?
I would go forward to when the Vikings win the Super Bowl.
You'd go forward to the Vikings winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Out
just
of
so it
everything
happened.
you choose, that's your shot.
Yeah, well, I mean,
You get one.
To go
you never
forward?
do it again.
everything else you can just make happen on your own if you're moving forward. And I
Okay.
don't want to go backwards. There's nothing worth going backwards for.
Okay.
I mean, I guess maybe, well, if you want to get serious, like maybe.
No, I'm just wondering.
Maybe go back to like. I think we all have those times in our life where like somebody dies, right?
Yep.
And you were like, oh, I could have spent more time with that person, or like.
But you only get one moment.
Well,
is there one person you're gonna go visit?
No, you can't select one.
That's my point.
Okay,
so you can turn it into that, but it's like you get one.
Okay, then I'm going back to my original answer. I'm not going back for anything.
There you go.
It's back there for a reason.
Okay.
And I'm going to move forward to when the Vikings win the Super Bowl in 2074.
2074?
Sure.
That's when we're winning the Super Bowl?
Well, who knows?
That's really depressing.
If we're lucky.
That's depressing. Well, right now we have no receivers, apparently.
I'd be 93. I'll probably be dead.
That would be bad.
That's a long ways away.
You could be like Bud Grant. Wasn't he like 98?
Probably. I mean,
maybe you'll be like him.
If I make it to 88, I'll be happy.
Yeah, me too.
Hell, 78.
You just keep going backwards.
Hey, went backwards. Found something I go backwards for.
That's a tough one. It's funny because I asked the question and I don't know the answer to it. I don't know which one I would choose. I do choose a lot of times, on this question, I would go backwards, and I would.
That's surprising to me.
Yep, but the only reason I would is because I'd revisit my sister.
That's fair.
Before she passed. So, and I could choose one person because it was my sister, and it's like my greatest regret is not being able to say something to her before she passed. And so, that would probably be my moment. That's like a serious moment.
Yep.
But going forward, I've always thought about that. Like, if it could go forward to one point, what would it be? And the hard part is I have 2 kids, so it's like I don't want to miss anything.
They don't listen.
Yeah, so it's like, who do you pick? Like, I'm gonna go forward to when Caden graduates. No, like I don't want. I'll just gonna live it out. Just live it out. Live the moment.
That's why I think you got to it's got to be something kind of wacky. I mean,
yeah, I like it.
I don't
what you had was good. Like, I never thought of that. Go forward till the Vikings win the Super Bowl. Maybe I would go forward till the Minnesota Wild win the Stanley Cup. That's what I would go forward for.
You will be dead before that happens.
That's why I'm going forward.
However, they're probably closer than the Vikings ever will be.
I don't think so. The Vikings are pretty close, I think. I think they got a lot of pieces in place.
I've been thinking that since night. If I could go back to one moment, it's when that son of a gun Gary Anderson missed the only field goal wide left in the NFC Championship game against Atlanta. God, I cried that day.
I did too.
God.
How about...
That is the one thing I'd go back for.
I'd go back to Blair Walsh.
I could have made that field goal.
I'd go back to Blair Walsh.
Oh, God.
The Seahawks playoff.
Well, he missed it 86 yards to the left. I mean,
that was a chip shot, though.
Jeez.
I'd go out there and be like, let's run the ball.
The fact that sports is what we'd focus on going back to relive. It's just,
I don't know, man.
But you took any option to go back when you made
my true answer is go back and visit my sister.
But you have the one specific thing that you could do that without
very easy specific decision for me.
For sure.
But yeah, I want to know from the audience, if you could go forward in time to one moment or go back in time to revisit one moment, which would you choose and why? You only get one. Can't choose both. You got to choose one. Put it in the comment section. We want to hear it.
Somebody have the guts to pick their favorite child and do something about that. Unlike Brandon.
I'm not doing it. I don't got a favorite child. I dislike them both equally.
Especially the one that wanted to play baseball this year.
Oh my God. It was over finally. Last night.
I love
finally
baseball,
over.
Man.
Finally over. I celebrated.
Really?
Oh, I was so happy.
The best part was like, no, I'm not.
I hate baseball. I hate it. Like,
really?
Dude, I figured out what I don't like about baseball. There's no time frame. You just don't know when it's going to end.
Yeah, after 27 outs for each team. You definitely know when it's going to end. It could be 2 hours or it could be 7.5.
Yeah, and the problem is you don't know if they're going to play 3 innings or 4.
That's fair.
And so you're like, is this the final inning? Nope. But wait, it's like watching an OxyClean commercial. But wait, there's more.
It just depends on how many times the 6-year-old swings and misses before he hits the damn ball.
Right. And then he looks at you with that look.
Right.
Like, I'm trying, Dad. And I'm like, you're doing great, buddy.
Keep swinging. You might give him a cold.
Yeah, like, God, come on, kid. Just hit the ball. No, honestly, I just can't do baseball. But the coach... Last night, the coach got the team together after the game was over, right?
Yep.
And he got down, on one knee and was given the heartfelt coach speech. And the wife of the coach was sitting to my left, and she's like, "Oh, he's gonna get emotional, blah blah." Like, he's an awesome coach. Let me say that. Great coach. Had a lot of fun with him. But you could tell he's very passionate about baseball. So she was like, kind of making a joke. He's gonna get emotional. So on cue in my phone, I had the Titanic music. So I just queued it up instead of playing it really loud for everybody to hear the Titanic music.
That's funny.
So yeah, I had to. It was pretty good. It was like the, one moment we had there. So, but honestly, I mean, the boys had fun. It was really cool to watch Ethan, like my youngest, really take to something. Cause like I've never seen him take to a sport so much, which leads me to believe we're going to be in baseball for a while.
Could be worse. Could be playing soccer.
Dude, I was a soccer player.
They never score goals, dude.
I was a soccer player for 15 years. I would take soccer.
If I wanted to sit around for 3 hours and watch nobody score, I'd go to the bar with my buddies.
Yeah, I knew that joke was coming. But yeah, so
We got to
baseball's
get
over.
back on the rails here. We're a
Yeah,
little bit
God, you
wild.
just destroyed us.
Distracting.
Okay, today's topic, right?
We had one?
Well, not kind of.
Oh, okay.
I read this on the internet, okay? That's what I want to start off with. I read this on the internet, and I wanted to share it because it makes a ton of sense when you really start to think about, like, just life in general and business. And I think right now, specifically, people are questioning themselves more than ever. And so it's called the burnt toast theory. I read this online. I'm sorry to the author. I cannot name you because I didn't know who you were. It just came across my feed. I read it, moved on, and then it stuck with me, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to share this. So I wish I could remember who the heck you were. If it's you that came up with this, feel free to comment, reach out to us, sales at ShopSabre. I'd love to know who it was. But it was talking about like a minor inconvenience, right? And so I related. I'm going to share it like about business. What are you doing on your phone? We got the audience listening.
Trying to
here.
take care of a customer.
We're listening here.
All right. They're watching.
Yeah, they're watching you. Just
We're back.
not pay attention.
Well,
to
the
them.
fact he can cut that out.
Okay, I'll cut that out, except for the talking part. But yeah, what I was saying is, I want to talk about like something specifically like a minor inconvenience. As an example, something in your business happens, right? Your machine breaks down for the day, or a person quits, right? Or I don't know, just something. One of your vendors is back ordered on something. Something happens, right?
Somebody picks up their cell phone during a podcast.
Somebody picks up their cell phone during a podcast. One of your employees is late. There's a number of things. You're late to a meeting, right? And you talk about it, and in the moment, it's concerning, right? Everybody's concerned in the moment, like with what happened. But many times, it can lead you to growth in your future. Whether that be somebody quit on you, right? And then you hire somebody new, and down the road, it's an upgrade. Yep. You end up with a better employee, but it's like, would you have ever went looking for that employee if the other person hadn't quit?
No, because you would have just...
You had somebody do the job.
Because you didn't have any reason not to have them, right?
Right. You have somebody doing the job, and they're doing a good job. Like, we have people that do good jobs, right? And you're not going to replace them. You'll keep them. They're stable.
Yep.
But are they the best for the job? And then you start to look at, like, the processes. If something doesn't break, let's say, you're doing things by hand, right? You're cutting with a saw, and the saw breaks. It's inconvenient because now we don't have the saw. But instead of buying a saw, you buy a CNC router.
Yep.
And now suddenly that process has improved. And that saw breaking was kind of a blessing in disguise, right?
For sure, yep.
Or, your equipment wears out or something happens. People have bought cheap Chinese machines, okay? This is a story I love to tell. They buy a cheap Chinese machine to get themselves started, and the thing just fails to work for them, right? They can't get it going. The tech support stinks, whatever the problem is, and they end up buying another machine like a ShopSabre.
Yep.
And it's a blessing in disguise because it forced them to realize, okay, how bad something could really be, and now they see like the value in buying something American-made. So when you start to think about it, this is where the burnt toast theory comes in. It suggests that like when a delay happens, right? So I'm going to kind of read here because I don't have it fully memorized, but it suggests that when a delay happens or when things don't go as planned, it could actually be a blessing in disguise. Those major or minor life inconveniences might actually be protecting you for something else. And essentially, like, if you burn your toast in the morning, this is why they call it that. If you burn your toast in the morning, which is something challenging happening to you, right? And you have to spend time making up that, right? So let's say you burn your toast and you have to spend more time to make another slice of bread, right? The time you spend making another slice may have saved you from, say, a car accident, right? Or may have saved you from something else bad happening. So maybe you don't get tickets to the show. So you guys don't go to the show, and then a traffic accident happens. It's like that's all happening for a reason, right?
Yep.
Or maybe you're late for a meeting, but as you stroll in, you meet somebody, right? There's somebody that you cross paths with that otherwise wouldn't have been there if you were on time.
Correct.
And so sometimes these inconveniences can become incredibly meaningful in your life, and these things wouldn't have happened if something inconvenient didn't happen first. Mm-hmm. And I can speak to this because I think of many moments in business here at ShopSabre. When things have happened that were super inconvenient and I thought like, what a terrible thing, that now I look back at and I wouldn't change them because they led me to the next direction I was going, or introduced me to a new person, or somebody who has helped me along the way, or has shaped me as an individual. Yep. And I think about that and I'm like, this is what the reason was for that happening, right?
Well, and I feel like you just got to have the right attitude about those things, right? Like, sure, things happen that are not good, things you obviously don't want to deal with, but if you kind of think it through and you come out on the other side with a positive attitude, or like you said, look at the positives that can come from it. Like if your saw breaks and you have to buy a CNC, look what it's going to do. It's going to improve your process time by whatever it improves by having obviously things cut by a CNC rather than cutting by hand on a saw.
Right.
I mean, you can always find a positive in most situations, right?
I believe that. I believe that every negative situation has something positive.
For sure.
And most people will choose to look for the negative. I think it's just human nature. You look at poor me, right? Instead of being like, you know what? We're going to do this now instead. Pivot.
Yep. I mean,
pivot.
Think about what we just talked about with your question about going back. Like, yeah, you can't go back and talk to those people that have died that you had, you know, that you didn't talk to. But now going forward, you can realize that you need to make sure to talk to people that you may not ever talk to, or like have better conversations with people so that if something does happen, it doesn't like end on that last bad conversation you had or whatever it is. Yeah. So even something like that can obviously, a tragedy of somebody dying can make you realize that, hey, I need to have more positive conversations and things with people so that if something does happen, it's good. That's
exactly the thought there, is that, you know, the universe kind of has your back always. Yeah. Like, even though you don't believe it sometimes, it's weird how like things shape you and like put you in the right moment. Like, Nick, I'm going to use you as an example, and you might not like me using you as an example here, but like I think about the fact of like, I go full circle here, okay? I had an employee quit on me on a Friday night.
Yep.
Sent me a letter and basically told me he wasn't coming in on Monday. He had another job. Yeah, great way. But in the moment, it was super inconvenient for me. Like, super inconvenient. Like, what the heck? Like, kind of blindsided. Didn't see it coming, right? And this person did your job before. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to, you know, get by, you know, do what I got to do. And I just happened to throw an ad out there, right?
Yep.
I put a comment out there. Anybody who knows somebody who's looking for a job, like, would love to talk to them, right? Happens to be the same week you decided I'm no longer going to do what I was doing.
I think it was actually like the day or the very next day from when I left that place with really no plan.
That's what I'm saying.
And I kind of jokingly was like, oh, I'll send you my resume. Just kind of, you know, whatever.
And I remember it.
And you're like, yeah, send it.
Yeah.
And
you were like, oh, cool, I'll send you my resume. And like, you could tell like, you were saying it sarcastically.
Absolutely, because I'm like, I know nothing about what they're doing. Like, I have no idea what's going on. They're like,
and that's why I responded back with, send it over. I'll review right away.
And then within like 2 days, I was here talking with you and Curtis, and
came in for the interview, and
Curtis was like, don't hire that guy.
Curtis was like, don't hire this. Curtis straight up did. He said, don't hire this guy, which I think is funny that we still give him a hard time about that. Hilarious. But like the funny thing about it is it's like the universe knew what was going on.
For sure.
I didn't. You didn't. Like you're literally jumping into a leap of faith. Like, okay, there's something's going to happen for me.
And I had, like I said, literally zero plan. Like I had no idea.
Yeah, you just knew that what you were doing wasn't.
I was like, I might have to go back to work in golf. I don't want, you know, like just that type of thing, whatever.
But I think about that now, and I go full circle. As it's like the inconvenience at the moment of like, oh my God, that's the person left.
Yep.
Like, I know I'm going to make your head really big here, and I don't want to say it, but like, you're way better at the job than what we had previously. And like the customers have commented how much, you know, more in tune with their needs you are. Like, so everything got an upgrade. But I would have never looked. Right. I would have never made that step. But that person kind of like forced me.
Yep.
And to me, that's like how I look at this. Is like as you look at business. And you think about your business as a business owner, stop taking everything that negatively happens to your business as a negative. Sometimes it's silently a positive thing happening, but it just takes some time for it to materialize.
Well, and I know a lot of people hate the saying everything happens for a reason.
Right. Or what's meant to be will always be.
Yeah. I mean, I think eventually, might not be immediately, but I think eventually those things really do kind of hold true. And
there's a reason why those phrases exist, right?
Yep.
You know, we can't always will something into truth, right?
Yep.
Like we want something to work out and it doesn't always work out. But instead, you know, we can work them into truth, right?
Yep.
Put the effort in, put the time in, and yeah, inconveniences are going to happen. You know what? this won't be the last inconvenience I experience in business. I'll promise. Like it's going to happen. Like it, just like every person listening right now, if you think your business is never going to have another an inconvenience, you're wrong. It's going to happen.
And most of the time, I mean, obviously there's some major things that happen, but most of the time they're really not that giant of a deal, right?
Right.
And you can kind of work through it and figure it out. And like I said, it's going to end up working itself out in the end.
Agreed. And that's my thing is like, you just have to find a way to like move forward. And so what I'm saying with that is like, when your saw breaks down, what is it trying to push you towards? What have you been putting off that maybe it's time to do? Maybe I don't need a saw anymore. Maybe I need a CNC.
Yep.
Or, you know what? I've been putting off buying a new machine, or I've been putting off hiring that person, or it just kind of forces you. Like sometimes
I've been putting off taking on more work.
Right.
You know, like.
Yeah. But my thing is sometimes the world forces you to make the decisions that you're uncomfortable making.
Yep, for sure.
Right?
Yep.
So that's the kind of how I look at it is, you know, you either get busy growing it or it will grow you, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Like you don't have a choice. Like I always joke about the fact that like when you look at like a garden, right? If you don't go out and tend to the garden, something's going to grow there.
For sure. Most likely weeds.
It's most likely weeds.
Nothing that you want to.
That's my point, though. But it's not like it's just not going to grow because you chose not to do it.
Right.
Something's going to happen. Now, the more you proactively you can be, a lot of times you can be prepared for situations, right?
Sure. Yep.
But when you put things off and you procrastinate or you turn a blind eye to certain things, like eventually it catches up to you.
Absolutely.
And that's what I've learned in business is that like it's going to find its way.
Yeah.
So you might as well do the work and put the effort in now. And again, it's the burnt toast theory, though. Don't always take things that happen negatively as a bad thing. Sometimes a bad situation is preventing a worse situation from happening.
For sure. Take that burnt toast, put some peanut butter on it,
Dude, I love
and
burnt
enjoy
toast.
the heck out of it.
I do like
Dude,
burnt toast.
Burnt toast with peanut butter is one of my favorite things in the world.
It's great. I am a huge fan of burnt toast, but I liked the theory, the burnt toast theory that somebody burns their toast in the morning, inconveniently has to make another slice, and then they avoid being in a car accident.
It's crazy to think about that, though.
But it happens.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Daily.
Like
Somebody
misses a flight, can't get stuck in, a snowstorm, therefore they're on time, they make their kid's graduation.
Yeah.
Like you think about that. Like those type of things happen because you didn't get on that airplane. You missed the flight, so you're not at that meeting, but then the return flight gets canceled because the plane is broke down.
Yep.
And suddenly you missed your kid's like big moment. But instead, you inconveniently missed this meeting you had to be at, but you made a much bigger life moment.
Correct.
Like you got to think about things like that. Like sometimes inconvenient moments are setting you up for bigger successes.
100% agree.
So that's what I got on that topic. I mean, it really isn't a big topic today, but it was more about like just setting people's mind in the mindset that, it's okay that sometimes things aren't going to go the way you want them to.
Yep.
It's okay. Like roll with it, roll with the flow, figure out what it's trying to point out to you. So
And make the best of it.
Right. Here we go. My favorite. The internet, well, it's broken. Nick, take it away.
Boy, where do we start?
I'll start it for you. I don't care. Nick's page, weather page. So as we're all aware, I mean, I think anybody who's listening to this, if you have a Facebook page, we've all seen scams on the internet.
Every day.
Every day.
Yep.
It's getting worse, I feel like. And a lot of times it's these scams that are like, so-and-so's dog is lost. Help us share this, right? And it's just like, but there's no contact information for how to get a hold of them if you find the dog.
Yep.
Like, oh, it's probably a scam. But then there's also scams that are like, watch this event live. Click on this link, right?
Yep.
Like that happens on my racing page all the time. I'll say, I'm racing at this track. And they'll be like, some scammer will post, click on the link to watch it live. And I'm always like, no.
And it's crazy how like immediate they show up. Like you post one word and it's just like all of a sudden they're everywhere.
That's AI, I think. It's just like that AI, like, patrolling it. But
and it just does, yeah.
Yeah, it just does it for you. But anyways, the reason I bring this all up is that Nick had a comment. Was it a weather warning? Is that what it was? What did you have? Like, what was the post? I don't remember. Oh, you were giving something away.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of companies I work with because the page has a large following. These companies
Got some legs.
Yeah, I mean they do some fun giveaways with just people just to kind of get their name out there, whatever.
Yeah.
So they wanted to, with the new Twister movie coming out, it's a weather related page. They're like, hey, we want to give $100 Visa gift card to one of your people.
That's cool.
To go to the movie, buy some tickets for their family, whatever, have concessions on us.
Right.
So we made up a little flyer, threw it out there, and just said, hey, comment on this, say who you'd bring with, whatever. We're going to pick a winner on Sunday.
Yep.
Well, of course, you do them giveaway posts, and these people start commenting, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Post a link. Click here to claim your prize and enter your credit card information and pay for your prize that you want. And it's just, one of those things that to most people, you would understand. And
it's very clear.
It's very clear that it's a scam and it's not legit. It has like this weird website link.
I saw it.
It's got like a bunch of like weird emojis.
It does. There's nothing about it that looked authentic.
Literally zero.
It doesn't match anything on the page that you've posted ever.
Right.
And the thing that blows me away, it's not even from the page.
No.
It's another person.
Just some random, they don't even have a name. They have like a symbol.
Correct. Like a symbol thing. And it says, click this link to claim your prize, blah, blah, blah. And then if you click on the link, which I did not.
Right.
It probably reroutes you to a website.
Yep.
That then asks you for personal information.
Yeah. Credit card information to pay for your prize. It's like, well, somebody's giving something away. Why would they ask you to pay for it? One.
That would be my first question.
Two, this doesn't look like anything legit.
And why would I put it in the comments?
Yeah. Like it's clearly says in the post, like at the end,
we'll contact you.
We'll contact you. Ignore the scammers. Like it literally says everybody has to put on these posts now because people just whatever.
So, anyways, this is why the
they
internet's
obviously
broken.
continue to still do it because it works and people fall for it, right? Or they wouldn't do it.
Right. Exactly.
Let's put that out there.
Yeah.
So, anyways, it happened overnight last night, and I get a bunch of messages about it. And I guess which one are you referring to?
I'm referring to the one where somebody falls for this.
Yes.
So to me, first off, the internet is broken because of this.
Yes.
Like the scammer stuff is just like internet being broken. But then they fall for it, and then they blame you.
Right.
This is where this is why I consider the internet broken. Like, why is there no like
personal accountability?
Thank you. That's accountability is the word I was looking for. I was struggling here. Thank you for helping. You saw my brain like short circuiting there. But yeah, accountability. Like, if I clicked on the link on your page and I put my stuff, I'm not blaming you.
Right.
I'm probably at fault here.
And to top it all off, the person was like, I haven't won anything in a really long time. I got really excited. I saw that I won and I just wanted to claim my prize before somebody else did or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And got like super annoyed when I was like, well, why? Like it says in the post, don't do it, whatever. And I was kind of like,
it blows.
I don't know. It was like I was supposed to feel sorry for this person. I really did. And I was like, well, I mean, you shouldn't have. I mean, it's clear, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, if they got my information and they steal it from me, you're going to be responsible for it. I'm going to sue you for this. And
that's where I say
I'm just
like, you're running a page.
It's not my responsibility that you like didn't pay attention.
Right.
Like I feel like my 7-year-old would see that and realize it's not legit. Like I don't know. The whole thing is just like it blows my mind because
it blows me away too. Because my thing is like scams are gonna happen. Things do happen. I get it
for sure.
We all can fall for things, including myself. Like I don't fault people but there is a sense of like personal accountability.
Absolutely.
And like to threaten somebody else, that sue them. Like there's some people in the world that would scare them. Like they'd be like, oh my God, what am I going to do?
Yeah, like sure, if it was me that posted as me saying, hey, claim your prize and give me, and then I started like using your credit card to pay for whatever, like that's different, but like
I'm just running my page.
Something,
yeah.
I don't know, man. Like
the internet's broken.
Try to laugh it off sometimes, but sometimes it's just like, what is going on? Like
what happened?
Man.
Yeah, that's all I had. I don't really have more than that. It's just the internet is broken.
We could do a 2-hour podcast every single week about the silliness that we read on the internet.
It's ridiculous.
Over and over. Hell, I could do that
Instead,
about my page every week. I should start doing that.
No, we should start motivating people. Let's motivate them. Motivational quote of the week. Continuous improvement is better than delayed perfection, by Mark Twain.
Guy's pretty smart.
I like that one. Continuous improvement is better than delayed perfection. In other words, waiting till it's right, 100%, is a lot of times worse for you than starting and continually improving on what you're doing.
And I think on top of that, if you ever think you get to perfection and don't think you can keep improving,
there it is.
That's the problem. Like you can't get complacent and just think, oh, this is perfect. It's never going to get any better. Like
I was going to say perfection doesn't exist.
Right.
That's the problem. Is in the statement itself, delaying for perfection means you're going to delay forever because it's never going to be truly perfect.
I mean, that would be like thinking that because we have a CNC machine that works great for what somebody does.
Right.
And does everything that they want it to, that there's still not things you can improve. Because there always is, right?
There's a reason why for 20 years we've been making revisions of what we do. For 20 years, we've come out with new options and accessories. Like, and a perfect example of this is the dust skirts. Like, it goes back to, like, we could have just stayed complacent and done what everybody else was doing. But instead, we started making improvements on the dust collection.
Yep.
And then suddenly it, like, kickstarted all these people who now build dusk skirts and do all this stuff. Like, we were one of the first ones to do that. And we could have obviously delayed kicking off that first one until it was absolutely perfect.
Yep.
But does it actually ever become perfect? Because somebody's going to think they have a better idea.
Right.
And so, like, I think that's where it is like, continuous improvement is something that, like, a company like ShopSabre, we literally have somebody here that their title is continuous improvement. That's their job, is to walk around and look for things that could be improved.
That's a sweet title.
It is continuous improvement manager. So.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But that's how we continue to get better, is we look at things that, even in our own building, in workflow and the way we store things, the way we work on things, like, how can we improve our processes? And it's process improvements, right?
Yep.
And then you start to look at equipment improvement, and that's where tech support comes in. They're looking at ways to improve situations for customers, and the sales team on looking at options and what would make it easier for a customer who needs something in their business. So there's so many things within our own business that we do for continuous improvement instead of waiting for perfection.
I think the tech support one that you just brought up was, those guys are always making little changes to our manual.
Right.
Even something as simple as the manuals that I mail out to our customers are always making little changes here and there based on things that they hear people calling in for. So
I hit my head on the mic.
I didn't hear it, so that's good.
That's good. I hit my head on the mic. That's why I thought maybe you saw it.
Nope, I did not.
That was weird.
I try not to look Heat in the eyes too much.
Try not to. But that's the truth, though, is that, like you said, changing the manuals, and then when they hear something from a customer, we bring it out to production. Like, hey, is there a way to make this happen?
Yep. And it's all the little things that people don't necessarily see, right?
Right.
Like behind the scenes stuff that doesn't necessarily show up on a machine that they're going to get 6 weeks from now or whatever it is.
Right.
So it's, constantly.
That's the hardest thing when people are like, what did you change on your machine since the last time I bought one? I can't really answer the question all the time. And people think I think sometimes that I'm like, I don't care. But I'm like, we make so many continuous improvement things that, like, sometimes it's like so small that you don't notice it, but it's a big difference, right? It affects the way the machine goes together, or it affects accuracy, or it affects performance. But sometimes it's like a small change or a group of small changes that come together and make a much better result.
You know which one jumps out to me?
What's that?
Is the handles on the vacuum control on the front of the machine. Like a little thing like that is something small, but obviously the ones that they used before were an issue for some people. Yeah. And they change it to, it's a minor, it's a change that not many people notice, but one that makes a huge improvement, right?
Yeah. And there's just little things like, it's the way we mount ball screws on some machines, and the way we mill the frames. Like, you look back 10 years ago, like, if we just didn't build machines 10 years ago because, we can't mill them the way we need to, or, we built them to the best of the technology at that time. But as technology has become more available, we've been able to upgrade the machine. So again, continuous improvement is better than not doing it at all.
And things that you could put two machines side by side and you wouldn't really tell that it's different, right?
Right.
But it's still improved
what
you were doing.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that's it. Again, continuous improvement is better than delayed perfection by Mark Twain. That is my motivational quote of the week for you. Final thought. What's your final thought?
That it's almost 2:00 and you have a meeting to get to.
It is almost 2:00. You're right. No, I have a meeting to go to. But no, my final thought. Let's try this again.
You gotta get that rewind button.
That was me backing it up right there. My final thought is, keep in mind the burnt toast theory. Don't let minor little inconveniences in your day wreck it all. Don't take them as a negative. Find the positive in it. Spin it any way you can to make positive out of negative situations. And honestly, like I said, look at situations that arise when you have an employee that quits. Look for the light there. Like, hey, is there somebody that I can hire that's going to bring more to the table than we had before?
And keep a positive energy towards it, and don't let the negative energy seep in and let it drag you down, right? Just keep moving forward, keep plugging away. It's going to work itself out.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. That's my final thought of the week, is that keep yourself positive. The universe has your back, as I said earlier. Yep. I think that's a key statement there. And
ShopSabre has your back.
ShopSabre has your back. Like, buy a ShopSabre. If you're having troubles with a machine that you own and it's not a ShopSabre, consider us. I mean, it is. I understand it's an investment. It's you're spending money, but they always say you got to spend money to make money. And I believe truthfully that when you invest in a ShopSabre, you will see a difference.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you will definitely notice a difference in the people. You will notice a difference in the performance. And I really believe that you'll notice a difference in your business. I believe that in my hearts of hearts. I believe that ShopSabre does go further for the customer than most companies will. And
we hear it every day without trying to, toot our own horn or slap our own stuff on the back. We get emails and phone calls about that every single
Testimonial
day.
Tuesday. I mean, you can look at it on our Facebook. Every Tuesday we post testimonials, and these emails are real. These are real people that are telling you what they think of the product. And
I send those out every 30 days, and we get those emails back with people saying those exact things that we post. So none of it's anything but it's real customer words. That's all it is.
So again, give us a shot. If you're looking for a piece of equipment, we'd love to earn your business. But that's what I got. That is my final thought of the week. And unless you got any more final thoughts.
No, I'm good. Everybody be nice to each other.
I like that one too.
Don't be.
As always, we appreciate each and every one of you listeners. Otherwise, without you, we're just two everyday normal guys talking to each other across this cheap desk. It's kind of a cheap desk. Had to say it.
Looks nice though.
It looks nice. But yeah, it's the truth.
It's from IKEA.
Yeah, it probably is. But no, honestly, I appreciate everybody listening, tuning in. We don't always have the right answers, but hopefully we make you think. That's my biggest thing is I want to challenge your thought process, give you something to find positive in your day and move forward with hopefully having a good week. So, with that, I'm Brandon.
And I'm Nick.
Thanks for talking shop with ShopSabre.